but be surprised about how many dealers aren't ready for it. And this is really your chance to shine for your customers and for any future customers that you're going to be getting with the storms. You as a business owner need to be in the office. Operations need to be in the office. Everybody needs to be in the office to make sure that you're ready to go. For hurricane season, you need to have your salespeople ready to go. You need to have your operations people ready to go. You need to have everything. All of this needs to be discussed weeks in advance before those hurricanes or before that snowstorm hits. Welcome to the Standby Generator Podcast, brought to you by Power Alliance. I'm your host, Jim Swetman. Together, we will dive into the world of the standby power business, offering expert insights, industry trends, and actionable strategies to help you grow and scale your generator business. Whether you're looking to optimize your operations, increase profitability, or stay ahead of the curve, this podcast is your go-to resource. So grab a seat and let's power up your business for success. Hi, this is Jim Swetman, and welcome again to this episode of Standby Generator Podcast. This episode, I wanted to talk about hurricane season, or really any other natural event that is either going to be happening or you know it's going to be happening. Could be snowstorms up in the Northeast, which I'm used to, hurricanes down south, any natural event. You as a standby generator dealer, business owner, manager, technician, who's ever listening to this, this is my experience of what you need to do to get ready. There's really multiple levels of preparedness, you as a dealer, thought process, and everything else that has to go down the line with your company. So let's kind of break that down a little bit here. I'll try and make this as quick as possible and entertaining as possible. One, you know it's coming. If you live down south, you know hurricane season is here or is going to be here shortly. You can take a look at the forecasts of what's coming up. You can take a look at the Farmer's Almanac. You can look at all that stuff. But you know that it's coming, so you might as well be ready for it. Sounds pretty simple, right? But be surprised about how many dealers aren't ready for it. And this is really your chance to shine for your customers and for any future customers that you're going to be getting with the storm. So let's first talk about preparedness before the first hurricane or the first snowstorm or the first windstorm even comes. First thing that you need to do is you need to have inventory. You need to have inventory of the most common items that are going to go wrong with those air-cooled generators that are out there. You know the problem generators that are out there, whether it's the 7 kW, the starters that they used to make, or the air boxes, or any of those items, the starter motor. You know the problems with some of the, doesn't matter the manufacturer, Generac or Kohler or Briggs, they all have their weak points, and you know what's going to break on these things if they're running either for 5 minutes or 5 days. So first thing you need to do is you need to have inventory ready to go. Start ordering that inventory and start having it ready. Next thing you need to do is you need to make sure that your techs are all up to speed as far as scheduling goes. If you know there's a hurricane coming, of course, all the techs have to take their vans home. They got to load up and get things ready to go. And you have to be organized. This falls under not only business owner, but the operations manager. I would definitely have territories that those techs are responsible for. If they live down in this zip code, have them have a 10-mile or 15-mile radius that they're going to be taking care of that area. You can't have the techs flying all over the place. You're just not going to be able to manage that happen. So the techs all have to be ready. And you as a business owner want to make sure that you're motivating your employees, your technicians, your operations manager, and everybody that, hey, this is coming around. This is what we're in business for. Let's make this happen. High five, get things going, and make sure that everybody's not only has all the right equipment, they're taking the vans home, they've got the proper training, but you have to have procedures in place behind the scenes. What does that mean exactly? Well, the winds have died down. You're getting just a tremendous call in. You have to learn, your operations people have to learn how to prioritize the call. Hopefully you've got a good database in there where you're prioritizing your own customers first. Sounds obvious, but you want to prioritize your customers first, especially if they're prepaid maintenance customers and they're on some sort of program. Your operations people, the calls coming in, you have to be able to decipher who are your priority customers. Take care of them first, obviously. Secondly, things get caught up. You start going into the second level of customers, and they may be new customers that you're going. This is a great opportunity for you to start picking up new customers that generators have failed and that you need to get in there and take that. The operations department needs to be organized as far as how to take those calls. They need to be reasonable with their backlog as far as the techs and how long they're taking. You know what? If that generator's down and that customer's crying for somebody to be there, you got to be honest with them right there. Operations got to say, we're probably looking at 3 to 4 hours for us to get there. Don't promise them you're going to be there in an hour if you know it's not going to happen, just because they're going to call back an hour later more pissed off than they were the first time that they called. So there's got to be some procedures in place. Operations needs to know how to handle the calls. They know how to strategize the calls as far as where the current techs are, the communications that you have with your technicians to make that all happen. Next thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that you're talking to your technicians and whether they're start getting burned out or not. If that tech has been out there for 12 hours straight taking care of calls, going through the cold or the wind and the rain, and you call him up and you want him to go on another call, you better just touch base with them and say, Joe, how you feeling? Are you doing okay? Do we need to get somebody in there to relieve you? And think of it, because when I had my own standby generator dealership, we had one of our techs, after he worked 12 hours, came into the office, put his keys on the table and his cell phone and said, I'm out of here. And we're like, well, what's going on? Well, you know what? I've been working here all these years and you never asked me, and I kept going and you never asked me if I was tired or if I even take a break. So all those years that we've been pushing them all came to head the day that we needed them the most. So you definitely want to make sure that you're communicating with your technicians to make things happen. Also, if there is storms coming, you need to have people in the office. Do not rely on your answering service to take those calls. You as a business owner need to be in the office. Operations need to be in the office. Everybody needs to be in the office to make sure that you're ready to go. You do not want just chaos to start to happen. And if you're not in the office just doing that, you're going to lose more customers than ever before. One of the things that we also did too is if one of your technicians goes to that generator, one of your good customers or a regular customer of yours, and they open the hood of that generator and the generator is just imploded, it's not going to run, you need to make sure that you have 4, 5, 6, a half a dozen portable generators at your office that are ready to go, that you can come back to the office, hook up that portable generator for that customer, hook it up to the exterior box or something, and get that heat working, get that CPAP machine working for that customer, get the the critical loads need to be taken care of for that customer. So you need to have a half dozen portable generators ready to go. Make sure they're fueled up and started up. And we had that as part of our contingency plan for when those generators did not work properly. And we took care of that. And believe me, that worked out fantastic, because when things, power came back on again, we sold them a brand new generator and they loved us. We had great Google reviews. So you want to make sure that you do all of that. So, and the salespeople, what we have found out on the sales side of things is when a big storm did come through, we were expecting all these calls of people immediately wanted to have new generators installed. We found out there was a little bit of lag in time before we started to get those calls of people that wanted new home standby generators. Yes, you're going to get a few of them, but usually it took a day or so for people to recover, and they wanted to get a price on a brand new standby generator. Now, this is where your sales team needs to shine. If you've got some salespeople that only work 6-8 hour days, and they don't want to work 10-hour, 12-hour days or weekends during this prime time of people wanting generators, this is where you've got to tell them that this is where the money is made for you, especially if they're commission-based, which they probably are. They need to get out there. They need to work 12, 14-hour days as salespeople. They need to get weekends, and you need to get out there and make those sales, or sell it, because there is a small time frame that those people are motivated to buy. And you want to get it at the height of their time frame. And we have found out it's less than a week, and then life takes over, and they're not thinking about a home standby generator anymore. So you get out there. If you're a business owner, you're used to sales, you get out there. Salespeople out there, everybody needs to get out there and make sure that you handle it as best as you can. You're not going to get to all of them. And what I had found out, when the emotion level is high and they just had a bad experience about losing power, first in wins. The first time, so your competitor, you don't want him to be the first in. You want to be the first one in there. You want to have everything together. You want to have the salesperson have a schedule with them so he knows when they can do that. And then that's when you get into inventory. Now, I'm not saying the hurricane season, you should be a little bit more inventory, but that doesn't mean that you stock up and buy an extra $1 million, because if there is no hurricane season, you're going to end up paying for that. So you need to manage that correctly as well. But parts, definitely, it's not going to hurt you to buy extra parts and get things going. So it comes down to parts, having them there, and having to know who are your current customers, picking up new customers, because your competition will fail out there. You will be picking up new maintenance customers and new customers because your competition will not be ready for hurricane season. You need to have your salespeople ready to go. You need to have your operations people ready to go. You need to have everything. All of this needs to be discussed weeks in advance before those hurricanes or before that snowstorm hits, so that everybody is on board and it's not a surprise about how you're going to manage those destructive storms that come in. Those are the way that we have found out when I ran a standby generator business. And believe me, I learned the hard way that you think that it's not going to happen, but it does. And if you're not prepared, all hell breaks loose. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening to the Standby Generator Podcast. Again, my name is Jim Swetman. Hope this helped you out. Thanks a lot. Thank you for tuning in to the Standby Generator Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share. For more resources, tips, and to connect with other like-minded professionals, visit us at poweralliance.com or visit our social media pages. Until next time, keep powering up your business.